Welcome back to Imperium Galactica. It's time to finish up Commander rank and defeat the Garthog, who have been our main enemy since the beginning of the game, so it's really a turning of the page that's going to be happening here. October 26th, we spent just over 3 weeks in this rank. We did almost 2 weeks of build-up, and then about 10 days or so to complete the invasion in total, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I do want to take a look at some of the things that we went too fast to see first up before we do this final battle. Now, did have a few questions in terms of why am I going so fast, why am I not in a hurry, why don't I just relax and let those things happen in their natural course? Well, we did touch on this some much earlier in the series, but just as a reminder for those who may not have seen that or may have forgotten it, out here in the greater galaxy, things are still happening. Like, this fight against the Garthog, this whole battle and war with them, would have taken quite a bit longer if we had waited longer to get to it, because they would have built up their planets more. Similarly, there are other events happening out in the galaxy that we'll get to, and the sooner that we get to those higher and higher ranks, the better off we're going to be, and the easier it's going to be for us. And then, of course, we're just trying to break the game in general as part of the whole philosophy of this Let's Play. So, let's see what would have happened actually the very next day if we had stuck around. So here's our first alternate timeline pop-in. October 27th, almost exactly 1 full day ahead of where our current time is.
I'm back in that accursed room. But this time, I'm being tested. My visions are becoming stranger, more disturbing.
So it's not at all certain what it is about that room that bothers Dante so much. But more importantly, he's being tested. It's becoming quite clear exactly who, or should we say what, Dante is. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about that now, because there is one more further reveal that's going to be coming with his backstory. So if we wait around for another day, then we will get another mission.
Incoming message.
A transport ship carrying a secret prototype of an invention is en route to Centronome. Ensure the ship arrives safely. If you must, shoot first, then shoot more later.
So, another escort mission. We are to be prepared for hostile action. The prototype is over here. So, let's see what happens if we head that way.
Commander, we have a visual on the transport ship. Escort flight path established.
Okay. And then if we proceed further, it will eventually come under attack. And this is not a particularly bad fleet. Won't bother with the battle here, but we've got a flagship, a couple destroyers, a few fighters, you know, very similar to the Garthog attack that we fended off earlier in the rank. And of course, the invention in question that we were escorting was the Destroyer 2 prototype. So we are going to completely ignore this now and see what happens if we fail.
Message on the bridge.
Captain, my order was that you escort the ship to Centronome, not halfway. You know, we lost months of valuable research and development because of your carelessness.
Now, the big thing to notice here is we're not fired. We're not demoted, which hasn't happened in quite a while with the Colonel. But also, months of valuable research and development, really? Because our default research speed for the, Destroyer 2 is, hey, look at it. I mean, that's like 3.5 days. So, really? And, of course, you could slow it down, but let's say we went all the way down to the minimum. And it'd be very similar for the pulse laser, which also comes along for the ride. Of course, we already researched that. But, even at that level, we're talking about maybe a month total for the two of them if we just went at the slowest possible rate. So, yeah, the timeline's off. He's exaggerating. But skipping all of that, I mean, obviously, we don't need to spend the extra days in this rank. The only thing we wanted out of that was the pulse laser, and we already got it. All of that brings us back to where we started the episode, attacking Garthog 1, the final Garthog planet, and finishing them off. Now, the walkthrough's idea on how to deal with the Garthog patrol fleet is that you should leave them with 2 planets left. They suggested Garthog 4 and Garthog 2, and, you hit the fleet in between the planets so that it isn't aided by the planetary defenses. Well, what will tend to happen then is it'll retreat, go back to the planet, then you can hit it again. The next time it comes through, the fleet is actually faster than our fleets are. But also, it will repair some and rearm its missiles when it goes back to the planet. So that can be kind of a painful process. Even if you use a couple different fleets to hit it twice en route, it still, can end up causing some damage to you. Now, the other option would be, of course, just to hit it at the planet. And in this particular case, like, if you attack a fleet at the planet, then it's not going to have the option to retreat. So if we did that, here's what we'd be up against.
Completed.
Okay, now this is not a small fleet, as you can see. 2 flagships, 3 destroyers, a whole bunch of fighters. This is the most powerful fleet that we have seen yet from the Garthogs. And clearly, if we were going to fight this battle this way, I mean, our shot-up fleet here would not be sufficient. So we would have needed to build more ships, and we could have done that. But I'm choosing another option. So, same situation again, but with a subtle difference. We are not attacking the fleet itself, we are attacking the planet.
Research completed.
And looky here, the Garthog fleet does not even get to participate. Now, why is that? If you attack a planet, then the fleet doesn't get to assist it. If you attack a fleet right by a planet, the planetary defenses will jump in. So it's sort of a uneven mechanic there. The purpose being, let's say you had 2 really powerful maxed out fleets right next to each other in space. Well, you could abuse that to get a much more one-sided encounter, and probably even more problematic for the game. They wouldn't be able to fit all the ships on screen because of the way the space battles are done. However, that does allow us to just abuse this, of course, and we don't even have to engage the largest Garthog defensive fleet. We simply bypass it entirely, and then it'll just disappear once their final planet goes away. We're running away, of course, with these ships because I don't want them to get kamikaze to death. There we go. And let's see how badly shot up our flagship is. It'll be alright. At least it has all of its equipment still left. So now we are going to have to move along. And of course, after this battle, we really aren't going to care what happens to these ships. We'll get into that. But we need to blow up all of the guns on the surface one final time. So I'm going to throw 2 full salvos. 6 of them at their most powerful plasma projector. I'm hoping to eliminate it here right off the bat. And then we'll do our usual roundup of the ion projectors. One more at those. A couple at the bottom one. And then a couple more at it. Let's see how we did. Well, good, except did anyone even shoot at this? Okay. Let's finish you off. Okay, one more. You don't have any left. Neither do you. There we go. I think we had just enough bombs for it. So, this particular battle is not an automatic win. They actually have 3 fortresses on this planet. One is here. Another one down in this area. Another one up here. That one actually does appear to be a little bit damaged. But it would be nicer if more of the damage had gotten distributed to the fortresses, but of course that's random and there's nothing we can really do about it. So because of that, in some of the outlying areas, of course, here that we can't start off either, we're really limited in, you know, good places to start. We could start off way down into this corner, or we can start off over here, and I think it's sort of, you know, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I think it's a little bit easier to maneuver up here, so that's where I'm going to do it. But there's no really good places. I want my rocket sleds over this way. Okay. So, the fortresses, 1, 2, and 3. See, oh, a bunch of them are way down here, but they've got some sizable tanks. They don't have rocket sleds on this planet, but they've got a number of mediums and even some heavies, and then, the light tanks mixed in. And it looks like this is actually going to set up reasonably well for us, but once these make their way all the way up there, we're really going to want to pound on them. And it's important that at the outset of this fight, we do not lose a bunch of tanks. So, otherwise we won't be able to have enough left to, I mean, wearing down 3 fortresses at once, that is not the simplest thing in the world. So I'm going to want to bring over our tanks as quickly as I can. Get set up. And yeah, you're coming out far enough away from the fortress. I think I can just come after you. Got to be careful though that we don't get into the fortress's range. And I really want to push my rocket sleds out this way. Yep, definitely keep coming out here. And let's throw a few more of our tanks out this way also. Keep it coming, boys. So let's slide out this way a bit. A couple of you fill in over here. Yep, we're going to need you out here further. Okay, that one's down. And again, I don't want to push into the range of the fortress, so that's what makes this really dicey. But I do think I want to keep the tanks flowing out this way. There we go. Some of them hitting the rocks. Okay. You come back here and hit that one. You hit this one, perhaps. Let's bring you forward and hit this one. let's have a couple of you... Not that tank, but the rocket sleds hit this one. Okay, you decided to come back here and hit the rocket sled. You didn't get very far with that. You're pretty shot up. Let's see, let's have you push in this way. Let's see if we can pull you out and have them chase you. I want to save every tank that I can. And then I'm going to want all of you to pop out this way. Work on that one. Because their big guns are starting to head this way. We really need to have all hands on deck. Okay. We're definitely going to lose this one. Their heavies are coming in, but we're really doing well. Let's retreat you. Maybe have you fill in over here. I would like the three of you to pound that heavy. But we're doing pretty well at knocking them out as they come up, which is the goal. Okay, you're going to be gone. Shift, yep. Have you run? Keep shifting over this way, and we're going to lose another one. Let's have the two of you come out. Don't get too far out this way. You come back. You run away. You can jump in. Let's knock out this big one if we can. Nope, you're coming way out here too far. Don't do that. You're gonna get hit by the fortress soon. Let's run you. And then all of the rocket sleds. Let's hit that. All of you come over here. Let's focus fire. We're dangerously close to this fortress, but I think we're going to make it. Okay. You're all gone. So I think we only lost one, maybe two tanks in there. That I can live with. Now this one is the most damaged. It's also the hardest to get to. So I'm still going to save it for last here, I believe. So let's reset carefully over around this way. Okay, so two groups. The more or less healthy tanks, then the shot up tanks and the rocket sleds behind. And I don't think you took the instructions. Now it's 50% damaged. And so this is the part that I was talking about before. Now, because each of the turrets aims and has its own independent range, to get outside of their range, once you've damaged it below 50%, you need to be way off to the left or way off to the right. And there's not really a good, like, I could move these down here, but they're not about to be destroyed. And of course, it only works for the rocket sleds because the tanks don't have as much range. Nonetheless, we didn't lose a whole lot there. And we knocked that out. Now, this one's really badly damaged. So I'd like to preserve it in the next fight if I can. But we're going to move on now to Fortress number 2 down here. Okay, so we do have a pretty good amount of tanks yet that are fairly healthy and can take some pounding. So we'll send them in first. There we go. And then we will take these And I want to try to position this one, once this gets down to the 50% mark, right off this side, and see if we can't preserve it for this fight by just keeping it from getting too close. There we go. And now, if we position them right about out here, it should be very difficult for these turrets to hit at least most of these rockets. In fact, they're not even aiming at them at the moment. So that's the basic idea there. So that's 2 fortresses down. And now we have to work our way around to this one, which is, again, more difficult to approach. And if you look at the left and right sides, we'd be shooting into buildings mostly if we took that tack. But it is partly damaged. Okay, for this one, I'm doing a little bit of a different tack. I'm going to have a couple of tanks, my strongest available ones, actually hit from these sides. And then they're going to jump in first. And then I'm going to have my tanks hit from the top. There we go. And then come in the rocket sled. So just, again, creating as many avenues of approach as I can. So everybody doesn't bunch up in here and we at least get some decent firing light. Now, you're not going to hit it from there. So come over this way. And you're getting bunched up over here, which is not my favorite thing ever. But it's almost down to halfway now. Oh, don't mill around there. Just shoot it. There goes some tanks going down, but we are almost done with this. Okay. We lost half of our force. I will take that. Particularly when we knocked out 17 of the enemy and 3 fortresses. So we are done as commander.
Dante, you're just in time. Let's get down to the business at hand.
We have discovered new civilization with superior development.
This is our Empire's largest ship, the Thorin. It's a leftover from the old Empire. It's 3 times the size of today's largest flagships, and it's the last of its kind. You are its new commander. Good luck. We urgently need to increase the speed of our production and development processes. The other empires are more advanced than us. We need you to catch up with them. We're depending on you to help us move forward.
To achieve these goals, you've been promoted to Admiral, sir. Congratulations.
Not enough time left in this episode to do a proper introduction to Admiral rank, so I'll hold that off to the next video. But it is worth asking the question, where's Admiral Tullen? Because last I looked, Tullen was the commanding officer of the Thorin. And now we get the job. I believe we're now sitting 3 months into the game, 3 months from having been a lieutenant. So yeah, the time scale being interesting continues. And then we do get our main goal is to improve research and production. But how much? How do we know when we've done? Well, all of that and more secrets of Admiral rank will be revealed in time. Till then, thanks for watching, everybody. The story will continue.